Hello everyone, welcome back to Plum Talks, the podcast where we dive deep into the world of marketing and explore the latest trends, strategies, and technologies shaping the industry. I'm your host Natasha Joshi, and today we have an exciting topic to discuss: impact of AI on the marketer's role. Joining us is our esteemed guest, Jordan Wilson, a seasoned marketing professional with a wealth of experience in leveraging AI technologies. He is also hosting his own show, Everyday AI. Welcome to the show, Jordan. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Natasha. Thank you so much for having me. Excited to talk all things marketing, advertising, AI. I'm ready to dive into it.
Awesome, awesome. Would you like to tell our audience a little bit about yourself, a little bit about your past?
For sure. I'll try to keep it kind of short. So I tell people that my current venture is my third act in life. So right now, you mentioned we have the Everyday AI. It's kind of a small media company. So we do a live stream every day, a podcast every day, and a newsletter every day covering AI, just helping everyday people understand and actually use AI. So, that's part of Accelerant Agency, which is the boutique digital strategy company based in Chicago that I founded and that we've been running since 2019. So that's kind of the third act. And real quick, I did have two other kind of career stops before that. So I spent about 7 years as a multimedia journalist, most recently for the Chicago Sun-Times. So, just traditional reporting, but also doing a lot of things that were newer and really pushing the boundary at the time, even putting news articles on websites and social media, that was, like almost 20 years ago, it was, really cutting edge at the time, even though I was personally frustrated. So, I did that for about 7 years. And then I spent about 10 years as a nonprofit executive. It was kind of weird though. So, we worked with at-risk youth, but we essentially just became an agency for Nike and for Jordan brand. So really the majority of my time at the nonprofit, we were an activation agency for Nike. So, doing a lot of activations in Chicago, but also, all over the U.S. So, and then kind of after that experience, I started Accelerant, which led me to also this Everyday AI project.
That's awesome, and especially with somebody, we are talking with somebody who has such a great experience. It's great to see how you have kept yourself updated, because AI is a fresh topic. Although we have seen a lot of AI in past as well, but currently everybody is talking about it. And so staying updated while having such large experience is amazing. So I think we shall start our discussion for the day. Jordan, over the past few years, we have witnessed a lot of AI technologies, including ChatGPT, which is very fresh right now as well. So, what do you think? How have these advancements transformed the role of marketers?
Yeah. Well, I think smart marketers weren't taken off guard by ChatGPT. So ChatGPT was released in late November of 2022. So it's been out for about 7 months now. But I think smart marketers were already using the GPT technology. So that's actually been around for more than 3 years now. And, at Accelerant, we were using the GPT technology through other tools, that a lot of marketers have probably heard of, companies like Copy AI or Jasper, formerly known as Jarvis. So, we've been using those tools really since they came out. So, when ChatGPT came out, it was more, I had colleagues in the, marketing industry who, were taken aback by it. But, it's actually been something that, big marketing agencies, ad agencies, they've been using this technology for many years. And I don't know if the majority of people, realize that, or even consumers that, hey, the ads you've been, taking in, the marketing copy you've been reading, it's probably been, AI generated for about, three plus years now.
Yeah. I think the reason why most people are shocked is because we have been using such tools. The example that you gave right now, copyright.ai, let's say, but we did not actually understood, a lot of us did not actually understood what is the technology used behind it, and we just kept using those tools and we thought, wow, it's amazing, let's use that. And when ChatGPT came in, everybody started talking about OpenAI and other such sources who are already working in the market. So that was kind of new for people to be shocked about. So could you provide us, just for the starters, could you provide us with some specific examples or real life situations where you have seen that AI powered automation has made a difference in a marketer's life or your life as a marketer as well?
Yeah, every day. um, specific examples is I usually start my day personally in ChatGPT. So I have different kind of chats that I've trained. That's the other thing. If you really want to get the most out of AI or ChatGPT, you really have to put the time into it, and to kind of train, to train them a little bit to respond how you want. So, I will start my day, whether it's, reading AI, like news in the AI industry, or, I have kind of like chats that I've trained to summarize PDF, YouTube videos, long articles. So, I'm big on always trying to stay up to date in marketing, advertising, digital strategy, all of those things. So, really starting even my day, starting it in ChatGPT, to try to keep up with everything, because especially now, I'd say now more than ever, it's hard as marketers and advertisers to keep up with all of the new trends in the industry. So that's even a great kind of hack for other marketers to use those tools in that way to help themselves, let alone their clients or whatever work they're doing, but even starting with yourself to keep yourself up to date and on trend.
That's awesome. I mean, AI seems to be playing a very significant role in all our lives to enhance efficiency in our day-to-day work and some personal work as well. So I think AI can also be personalized, especially if you are using the latest version of ChatGPT. Moving on, maintaining a human touch in campaigns can remain very crucial, as you have already mentioned that it's hard right now these days. So with all the AI, with all the data that we have, everybody is putting on similar content. And the one who can keep the human touch while using AI could make a difference. So how do you think, how can marketers strike a perfect balance between utilizing technology and preserving that human touch? So the reader or the consumer of that content understand that, okay, we are talking to a human in front of us.
Yeah, Natasha, that's a great question. I think that's probably one of the bigger challenges, of 2023 for people in marketing and advertising, because the more reliant we become on technology and AI and machine learning, the less in touch we are going to be with the human side for the people that we are trying to relate with. So it's a tricky line to walk, to get the most out of technology, but to stay in touch and stay in tune with your audience or with your intended customers or potential clients. I think one of the good ways to do that is to step away. It's something I try to do. My wife is always pushing me to, like, hey, continue to have lunch meetings with people, continue to call people on the phone, because, especially if you are in the industry and you're working so much, you become, when you see the output of today's technology, it's hard to step away from that. So I think it's just important to always literally to unplug, and to connect on the human side, not just with, your current clients, potential clients, networking, all of those things, but also just personally, people that you care about in your life, because technology, it's everywhere. Even if you're not in, marketing and advertising, if you open Snapchat, there's an AI, you're talking to your AI on Snapchat, so it's on social media, it's on TV, these new advancements are everywhere. So I think it's important to sometimes step away and to connect in real life.
Talking about new advancements, we also have other social media apps now. I'm sure you have heard about threads. It's very common. Everybody on LinkedIn and other platforms are talking about it. So, do you want to share any opinions on that as well, on threads? Like, what do you
On
think?
yeah, on threads. Okay. The adaption rate has been fast. They had I forgot the number, but it was tens of millions of people, signed up in the first couple of hours. At that rate, it was even outpacing the initial adaption to ChatGPT. I don't know. I think it's too early to tell. It's been about 48 hours. So I think there's always going to be that first wave of excitement. Also, even just with kind of everything that's going on at Twitter, I think that's obviously, helping to fuel to fuel the kind of exodus toward an app like Threads. So I think we'll see. I think it's an exciting prospect. I think it's obviously great, that there's integration into Meta's other platforms, Instagram, Facebook, all of those things. But I honestly don't know yet. I do think also part of the appeal, the initial appeal of Twitter and what made it so popular was the public nature of it. And it was that you can get away from, it was almost like, I think the initial popularity of Twitter, or the ongoing, was it's almost like you're getting away from Facebook and Instagram. So with Threads, you're actually just becoming more integrated and more ingrained in those platforms. So it's definitely interesting. It's giving marketers and advertisers a lot to talk about, and a whole nother, advertising channel as well, which should be, pretty intriguing to explore.
I was actually very shocked to see that some of the agency owners, they have already adapted the whole process. Like, they have started offering companies like, will create such and such threads for you. So it was quite funny to see. Moving back to our topic, so we have heard about chatbots, customer support, and how AI is playing a role in that. What are some other innovative applications of AI that you have used that marketers can leverage to enhance their strategies in campaigns?
Oh, that's a great question. And the answer changes every day. It's hard. It's hard to keep up. I actually do a little AI in 5 segment where every single day I review a new software or a new tool in the AI space. And there's a lot. There's so many, and there's so much happening. But I'll say this, and this isn't a cop out. I always find myself just going back to ChatGPT. Here's the other thing too to think about. The way that they're positioning ChatGPT, it is to be like an Apple. It is, like the App Store right now. If you look at some of the smartest people in the world, and they're predicting that the ChatGPT plugins will be a larger ecosystem eventually than the App Store. So I am, I guess, always using new applications or kind of new integrations with AI technology, but I find myself exploring those things through new ChatGPT plugins. There's already, I think at last count, more than 700. So, I'm really trying to push myself and to use the, find interesting use cases within the plugin ecosystem, because I'm a firm believer in, in a couple of years that is going to be like, an iOS, Apple App Store, an Android App Store, and it could be, I think, bigger, depending on how the next couple of months play out, but I think it could be bigger. So yeah, a lot of the time that I'm spending with new AI technology, with new AI tools, it is a lot of it in just inside ChatGPT and plugins.
That's awesome. And you have, as you have already mentioned, it depends on how people react to it. And it also depends on, I think, just to add a point with yours, is that it also depends on if we get another technology even better than AI, because right now everybody is just waiting for better things to come, and everybody is also scared of that. Like, what if something bigger comes and people are already losing their jobs? So we'll have to wait and see. Now, with AI taking over repetitive tasks, as you already mentioned, marketers may need to acquire new skills to remain valuable and relevant. What if bigger things come? So, what new competencies or skills do you believe marketers should develop in this age of AI so that they are sure that their place cannot be replaced, at least for some years? We cannot guarantee anything.
Yeah, I think traditionally marketers have specialized in a certain medium or a certain deliverable, so copywriters, UI, UX design, on-page SEO. I think what's going to be the most important thing for marketers to do to prepare for the future is to broaden their skill sets. And the reason why is because I do think that it's you can't deny it. Like AI and the technology is making it easier for the everyday person to do a lot of these very specific skills, right? So I just threw that out as an example, but UI UX design, right? You can go into Midjourney, you can upload, an example that you find on Behance. It can spit you out something. You can quickly recreate that in Figma in 10 minutes. And then you can use a Figma to Webflow plugin. So you can go from, I've never designed anything, to if you know the basics, the very basics of Figma, which is like, if you know Canva, you can, you could do it. But, that's, you could become a pretty good UI UX designer just by knowing what looks good and knowing the technology and how to quickly recreate something. You can go from, the most beautiful website you've ever seen to using just Figma and a couple AI technologies, and you have that thing live in an hour, right? Which it used to take a team days or weeks to do. So I do think the thing for smart marketers to do is to broaden their skill set and to say, like, hey, instead of just being a UI UX designer, like, go through that whole process there. And then while you're at it, learn the basics of on-page SEO. So maybe you become a web developer, but who specializes in UI UX, but you can do the entire journey, because I do think a lot of those more specialized roles in marketing where it's like, hey, I'm just doing content strategy, I don't think those are going to be around in that exact format. I think marketing roles are going to become much broader and all encompassing, because it's easy. It's getting easier to do these things. So, instead of, a huge company having, let's say an agency having 20 dedicated UI UX roles, they might have 2, and then they might have a couple of roles of people who are then taking that UI UX and building other applications with it, where maybe they didn't offer those services to begin with. So it's, marketers have to broaden their skill set and they have to learn. If you're a marketer who's just doing the same thing you've been doing for 10 years, that's not good. You are going to age yourself out of the growing job market if you just keep doing what you've been doing, because we are going through years of advancements on the technology side. We're going through years of advancements in weeks. So you can't just keep doing the same thing you've been doing.
For sure. And as you've just mentioned, like, if companies might have 20 UI UX designers, they would want only 2, and that too, they would want a lot of things with the UI UX as well. Like, they must have some knowledge of SEO so that they can deal with SEO people who are dealing with SEO. They must also have some knowledge about web development, and it could be an add-on. The only reason here is because AI can do a lot of the work already. They only want somebody who can help AI do all the things, or at least manage the whole process. So it will definitely take some time, and that's a great example. And talking about staying up to date with the latest AI advancement, how can marketers keep themselves informed and incorporate their advancement into their strategies? Like, how do you keep yourself updated? As we can see, you're super updated and you run your own podcast and you mention all these things there. So could you share some resources or some ideas by which marketers can stay updated?
Yeah. There's no shortage of ways, right? You need to be reading I won't plug my, everyday AI too much, but you should be reading at least 1 or 2 daily newsletters about advancements in your field specifically. So there's obviously in marketing and advertising, there's great resources. Some of them look more at like use cases or, deep analytical, dives. There's great ones. Stacked Marketer is a great resource. I try to read it every day when I can. Harry's marketing examples. So there's great resources like that. Like if you're in marketing, advertising, those are great, but those are really just primarily focused on broadening your current skill set or, a lot of, as an example, going from a 6 to an 8 in what you're already knowledgeable about. I don't know if those kind of publications, they're great and you still need those, but I think marketers need to proactively seek out new areas of learning and understanding in addition to those ones that are going deeper. So yes, you do need to take, your skill set from a 5 to a 6 to a 7 to an 8, but all those other skill sets where you have a 0 in, you have to start learning those. You can't, like I said, because I do think that a lot of marketing and advertising positions are going to become more all-encompassing. You have to learn new skills, and you also have to keep up with where your current skills are trending and even where these new skills are trending, right? So let's use the UI UX example again. Let's say you're a content writer and you know nothing about UI UX. You can't just learn UI UX from a course from 2 years ago, because if you learn it, you're learning yesteryear's way to do it. So it is challenging, but I think you have to literally carve aside at least an hour a day and dedicate that time. And you say, hey, for 30 minutes, I'm going to read these 2 newsletters that are going to take my 5 to a 6 to a 7. And then I'm going to carve out another 30 minutes to these skill sets that are at a 0 and to get to a 2 or a 3. So you just have to be very intentional with your time, and you always have to be learning.
Absolutely. That completely makes sense because being in marketing, as you already shared that you have got a lot of experience, yet you kept yourself updated, and right now we can see that you still want to learn what's new. And I love the phrase yesteryears, because if we are going to have knowledge, or if we are going to keep in our mind that okay, these are the courses that I've done, but the knowledge in those courses might be outdated, and we already have some new trends, we already have some new social media apps people are talking about. As a marketer, we always have to stay updated. And so could you share any examples of AI driven marketing campaigns that you have seen have successfully engaged and resonated with consumers, and what made these campaigns stand out? Because if you are using AI, let's say me and you, we both are using AI for the similar problem, it's a huge possibility that it might share very similar kind of content with us. So how do you know any successful campaigns that you have run?
Yeah, just shared a couple of them today in our newsletter. There is Lionel Messi campaign, one of the most famous athletes in the entire world. They just did a commercial using I think it was Runway, so a commercial generated with AI. Another good example, and I think it got mixed reactions, but there was the new Marvel series that used AI to generate the opening scenes. So there's already been a lot of use cases of big name brands, big name companies that are putting AI content out there. I do think that it's going to naturally generate buzz, right? Which is hard to do in marketing and advertising. So it can be a gamble if you're going to put something completely AI generated, especially visuals. Obviously with text, there's no way to tell. Even audio, there's really no way to tell. The audio is great, but at least right now, with video, you can still tell for the most part things are generated. Photos you can't. And even so, yes, I do think that there's plenty of successful examples of projects using AI that have resonated with audiences They've gotten fanfare and momentum, not just because that they use AI, and yes, that does create buzz, but also because the product was good and it works. So you also have to, whether you are working in-house at a company doing marketing and advertising or an outside agency, you have to do your due diligence to not just use AI generated marketing just for the sake of it. You have to make sure that it fits. It fits with the project. It has to fit in the storyline of taking the project to where you want the consumer to go as well. So yeah, I think that there's a lot of good use cases. And also, to the point, I think that if people are using AI correctly, I don't think that people are going to be getting a lot of similar outputs. But Natasha, you do bring up a good point, is most people, even marketers, can be lazy sometimes. And then you'll get, again, whether you're talking video, whether you're talking images, written copy, email copy, social media campaigns, if you are using AI and if you are being lazy on the front end, because it is so great and you think, oh, I can put a subpar effort in and get something extraordinary out. That's not how it works. We've all heard garbage in, garbage out. Yeah. But if you are putting in the right inputs and creativity into generative AI, you will get unique and high quality outputs.
For sure. I think that makes complete sense, because putting in the kind of words that we want in return, let's say if I want something, we can also tap on emotions. Being a marketer, we can tap on emotions or ask the AI to generate professional content or content that would be simple or a little funny. These things can definitely make a difference. And also, it is from my experience only, when I started using ChatGPT, the kind of content it created at that time and right now with the entire prompt I'm writing to it, ChatGPT is actually creating awesome content in result. Because I understand how do we create, how the kind of prompts that we give to it, and then it just serves the good result at that time. So those are truly remarkable campaigns that you just shared, and it demonstrates the power of AI in engaging customers. As we conclude this episode, let's touch a little bit upon the potential risks and limitations of relying heavily on AI in marketing. What are some potential challenges marketers may face, and they might have to mitigate this particular risk and to ensure a balanced approach?
Yeah, there's a lot of risk if you're not using AI correctly. There's been well documented cases of that. I think the one that most people have heard of is a lawyer here in the US, I think in New York, used ChatGPT to try to submit something to a court, and it hallucinated. It wasn't correct, and that lawyer found himself in trouble. So there's a lot of risk to not properly using AI. So yes, and outside of just subpar outputs, that's not a risk. That's just, you're just not putting great material out there for your audiences. But yes, AI can get things incorrect. There is human bias that will manifest itself in being too reliant on AI. It's something that I've seen personally. But it's a lot of stereotypes in the real world can also be carried out when you are using AI. So you do need to be aware of those things, and you need to be cognizant of in which use cases it is appropriate to even use AI, because there's a lot of instances where you shouldn't be using AI and you should be relying on a human without being aided by AI. So I do think that there's a lot of risks. I think one of the biggest risks is people who just don't know how to use ChatGPT correctly. That is by far the most used AI tool, probably all the rest of them combined, and the vast majority of people do not know how to use it correctly. So not only has this created an influx of content and marketing materials and advertising campaigns that just aren't good. But yeah, now there's a lot of bad information out there too. There's a lot of just wrong information out there. So, there's no legal issues in that, but there's just, and if you're passing that off to, clients or customers or, a company's followers on social media, whatever it may be, you are doing an injustice by not, first of all, using AI or ChatGPT correctly, but then also not having the mechanisms in place to make sure that those things don't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think because a lot of people are still using ChatGPT, not the updated version, and it is only updated till 2021, which ChatGPT mentioned itself. So fact check in that case is very important because it might actually serve you wrong information that could go publicly and might harm the brand. So thank you so much for giving us all the information about AI driven marketing. And I guess the future of marketing holds immense potential with these evolving jobs, roles, and functions. Thank you so much once again, Jordan, for sharing your valuable insights on the impact of AI on the role of marketer. It has been an enlightening conversation. I have learned a lot of new things. Anything else that you want to share with our audience?
I think we covered almost everything. I will just re-emphasize one thing, and especially for, marketers and advertisers out there, you need to stay hungry. You need to always be learning, you need to always be testing, and you need to always be iterating. Even if you, started a project using ChatGPT, months ago, you can't be relying on that same information or that same process today. Because yes, like I mentioned, you are getting years of development and years of new capabilities in months, if not weeks. So as marketers and advertisers, we just need to continually be learning, improving, and iterating, because a lot of times it is what this sector does that does push a lot of other sectors. So I do think that marketers and advertisers especially do have a role and a responsibility to, push this technology and the use of this technology forward in a responsible and in a moral way as well, because it is a tool, it is going to continue to be used. So, it is kind of the role of, I think, especially marketers and advertisers to learn it, to push its advancements and to continue to build it, because it will create, an exciting and hopefully a better future for everyone as well. Even on the consumer side, being able to have more marketing and advertising that feels like it was made for you, I think is a very exciting prospect.
For sure, definitely it is. And I think if applying all the things that you have mentioned right now, we can definitely have better campaigns and people can learn how to use AI in a good way. And we might come up with another podcast with you showing how you can do that. So that wraps up today's episode of Plum Talks. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on the impact of AI on marketers' role. Stay tuned for more exciting episodes where we explore the latest trends and strategies in the world of marketing. Remember to subscribe to our channel and leave us a review. For more such podcasts, visit our YouTube channel and website. This is Natasha Joshi signing off. And with that, we reach the conclusion of this podcast. If you have enjoyed our discussion today, we invite you to explore more insightful episodes on our website or YouTube channel. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel to show your support. We also have a very special treat for marketers seeking to enhance their skills in PPC marketing. Visit our website and explore our free academy section, exclusively designed to provide valuable resources and knowledge in this field. And to connect with marketers like yourself, join our Slack community for marketers. Details given in caption below. Thank you.